It's Thursday, September 16th. I'm Scott.
I'm Rim.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, the rest of PAX that we didn't spend playing games. Let's do this.
So we're back from PAX. We did that experiment
We've
a lot
been
of you
back
wanted.
from PAX for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we are in fact back.
Mm-hmm.
We've only had one weekend since PAX, and I note, what did we spend that weekend doing?
Playing games.
Playing games at a con.
I got to do some laundry, possibly tonight, because I have stuff going on
Oh shit, so do
until
I.
Sunday, and I have no underwear. And I bought a bunch of underwears on the internet, but they're not here yet.
You got plenty of time on Saturday. We're not running the game until people show up.
I guess I could do early laundry.
Now you got to come over and record that thing for Project ST.
Okay, is that Project Shit Talk? So that means it doesn't. That means I don't have to do it because it's all shit talk.
Project AST, I guess?
Project Anti Shit Talk,
Perhaps.
or perhaps Project NST No Shit Talk.
So I figure we can get right into this since I know a lot of you wanted our actual PAX review as opposed to just the review of games at PAX. So I have the littlest little news because it kind of links into one of the panels we did at PAX. Kotaku has this thing, what are the biggest selling Super Mario Brothers games ever?
So Mario Brothers with the pipes doesn't count.
No, it's Super Mario Brothers and like Super Mario Land, Mario World.
So Game & Watch doesn't count.
Super Mario Land 2, Yoshi's Island.
Okay.
And basically,
So the game Golden Coins, Super Mario Land on the Game Boy doesn't count.
what I can say, it makes me very
How
happy
about Wario?
that no Wario games. That the numbers here, because they claim to have done some research and they have the actual release numbers from Nintendo.
So wait, are these all-time sales or release sales?
All-time worldwide sales.
Okay.
And they pretty much match the numbers I had in the egregiously
So
unrealized
let me guess,
potential
number
panel.
1 is Mario 3, right?
Mario 1 has almost doubled the sales of Mario
Oh, because
3.
it came with every NES. That's,
Yep.
that's unfair.
Is it? Is it? More people
Yes.
probably played it than played Mario 3.
It's the same as with Wii Sports, where it came with the system, and that's why its numbers are off the chart.
Yeah, but I recall, the point is, this is interesting to look at, because even if you remove Mario 1, Mario games don't sell as much as they used to. And
No kidding.
of course, part of it is that there's this long tail. Nintendo keeps re-releasing old Mario games for you to buy again.
Oh, so if I buy a copy of Super Mario Brothers, because they re-released it identically for the GBA, or if I buy it on the Virtual Console, is it adding? Are they lumping all those together?
See, I can't tell. In some charts they do, and in some charts they don't. Around.
Bullshit. All right.
What do you mean bullshit? The game sold.
Yeah, but one person bought it 3 times.
Yeah. One
Nah.
person buys a movie 3 times.
So okay, so the PAX and San Diego Comic-Con attendance figures are totally legit with their multiplying one person times 3 days.
You know what? They would be if they were upfront about that and they didn't say this many people came. If they said this many people came over 3 days, counting each day individually.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it does raise the interesting point that there's this huge perception in gamers about what games are popular, what games are not popular, what games sell, what games don't sell. And in that panel, I was sad to point out that of the top 5 games played on Steam every day, Counter-Strike 1.6 and Counter-Strike Source are basically tied for number 1.
Yep.
Team Fortress 2 is like number 4, and it's not even number 4
Deservedly
every day.
so. I wish they would put the effort into Counter-Strike that they put into Team Fortress 2.
They started to. There's been a whole bunch of updates lately, and Counter-Strike.
Why don't they update CS 1.6 a little bit, though?
Fuck CS 1.6.
What do you mean?
Why bother?
Because there's so many people playing it.
Yeah,
You
and
can sell copies of Half-Life 1.
I don't think they couldn't make enough money off of Counter-Strike 1.6. Because no one new is going to pick up 1.6. No one who's like, I want to play a game like Counter-Strike.
The thing is, it's
I'm gonna
useful
start with
because
1.6.
you can play it on a shitty old computer.
By now, you can play Counter-Strike Source on a shitty old computer. I can play Counter-Strike Source on my laptop.
What would be really nice is, how they could get a bunch of sales, right? Is they ported the Source engine over to all the other computers, like the Macs and whatnot. And they said they're never going to they said we don't have plans for Steam on Linux, that was Xnade. But bring the Half-Life 1 engine over to the Mac and such. That'll be pretty difficult, but it'll be worth it because,
It's just interesting that when you look at sales numbers, I mean, it's easy to say this game's popular, this game's not. This game's a blockbuster, this game's not. And like we pointed out at the panel, people gasped when I showed just a collection of sales numbers of various games.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an interesting little graph, and that's all I had. I wanted something quick before we talk about PAX.
My thing is quick also. Apparently, the Anarchist Cookbook,
the book that basically should better be titled How to Fuck Up and Kill Yourself.
Exactly. Apparently, this guy wrote it when he was like 19 years old, back in 1969, right? And he basically he did it by going to the New York City Public Library, researching things and just compiling information he researched, and there you had it.
So I should point out, when I got internet access, actual internet, not AOL, not Prodigy, internet, for the first time in my life, my whole family crowded around the computer. We sat there, and I went into the little search, and I typed bomb making instructions. And my dad was like, all right.
Nice. Sweet. Oh.
But
anyway, there's this whole thing on Amazon, right? Has a from the author note on this book, and he talks about how he wrote it, and now this dude, being now older and, with a family and kids and being like a teacher.
Oh, is this a regret situation?
Yeah, he's now like an Anglican something, right? He's all religious and goody now. So he's like, man, I wish they would take this book out of print, because apparently what happened is he doesn't even get royalties, because like the publisher just put them as the copyright and not him, even though he has, his name is on the book. He doesn't actually get anything for it.
I hate to say it, it's his fault.
Yeah. But he's like, I would be pleased and relieved to see its publication discontinued. It's like, dude, I mean, seriously.
No, here's the problem.
Welcome to the 21st century.
This. When they discontinue that just means that some much better book is on BitTorrent.
I know, right? This guy clearly is not aware of the 21st century very much, and also has no respect for, free speech, really.
No, because he didn't say, he's not trying to like sue people and force it down.
Oh, no, but I mean, it's like, you shouldn't.
He has a lot of free
no
speech.
matter how disgusting, I mean, even a book like.
Oh, no. Look what he's saying, though. He's not fighting to actually get it taken down, because the epitome of free speech is saying in the marketplace of ideas, this is what I believe, this is what I want. So what's he saying? I would rather this book not be out there, blah, 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 blah. But because he has no power to enforce that, he's exercising his own free speech and thus validating the fact that the book is still available.
You would never say, right, even the most disgusting book, what's that, Nymphette, right? I would never say I want Nymphette to be out of print, right?
Yeah.
I would never wish for a work of art to cease being. That's like cheering while the Library of Alexandria burns. Not everything in there was amazing.
Yeah, but at the same time, in the marketplace of ideas, that is his idea, and
that's a bad idea.
There are worse ideas.
You know what? I would rather have people making bombs and doing what's in the Anarchist Cookbook than trying to eliminate works of art, no matter how disgusting they be.
I agree, because the Anarchist Cookbook is a device for removing dangerous and stupid people from society entirely on their own.
Obviously.
Sadly, they might take their cat with them or something, but
well,
maybe their parents' basement.
That's okay.
So we want to get right into PAX. I know that's what you're waiting for.
We need some things of the day and meta moments.
So some things of the day are what the music just told us to do.
So here's a guy. His name is Wayne Harris. He's a freelance illustrator / character designer.
All right.
He's got a webpage with a bunch of freelance illustrations / character designs. Most of them are characters that drawn in his style. And let me say, he has the best style, or one of the best styles.
I'm digging that Mojo Jojo.
His Captain Caveman is like the best Captain Caveman, I swear to God. And also his Top Cat.
This is good in the same way that, remember way back, there was that bunch of characters done in the Powerpuff Girls style? That was like one of our first things of the day. This gives me the same vibe. I get the same enjoyment.
Yeah. So he just drew a bunch of characters in his style, and they are high quality, and it'll entertain you for a few minutes. And that is very good.
So what I've got here, I think this is pretty clever. It's a hoodie that's just a hand. But if you unzip the zipper, oh shit, it's a Vulcan whatever.
Oh.
It's pretty well done.
All right.
Yeah, I know you don't like Star Trek or Firefly or...
Oh, I didn't even know you were talking about any of those things.
Or anything that's good. Babylon 5, which isn't that good, but...
I didn't even know that you were talking about those things that I don't like.
So Vulcan means nothing to you?
I mean, it's a Vulcan cannon, like bzzz.
Not even vulcanizing?
Oh yeah, like you can vulcanize, a piece of metal, yeah.
Or a tire, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, that too.
This thing, it does this thing with the hands, where you've got the two fingers going in opposite directions in the middle. Kind of like a shocker, but the ring finger is moved toward the pinky.
Yeah, I know the thing now that I see it.
Do you know anything about that thing? Can you tell me anything about that thing that I didn't already say? I'm curious.
It's a Star Trek thing.
All right. Do you know what it means?
It means I'm a Star Trek nerd. Look at me do the thing.
So very briefly, the meta moment. We were at PAX. We have PAX coming up. We're doing at 2 or 3 panels at PAX Boston. And this is not official announcements from Penny Arcade or PAX or anything. This is just me talking, my personal opinion. Note that they are calling it PAX Boston now and not PAX East.
Dun, dun, dun.
I feel like that is very telling of things to come.
Currently,
Or, as they called it at PAX Prime, bitch PAX. But I'll have words with them
but if
at
there
the
is
Q&A.
if there is a third PAX,
Austin.
right? Well, okay,
Austin, Texas.
Okay, let's go down the city. We're making the meta moment more than a moment, so let's not talk about that right now.
Now you don't want to talk about that? It's got to be Austin because that's the only good place. Maybe Chicago.
I think Austin is currently number 1. Atlanta, Chicago are highly ranked.
Yeah.
Vegas, hopefully.
Nah.
And
Vegas is where it ends.
Vegas is lowly ranked, but I want it.
No, Vegas is where it ends. Vegas is what happens.
Toronto.
When you've got...
Too close to Boston.
Once you've got 12 PAXs a year, all over the world... Then Vegas is kind of like the final PAX. Like that is the big PAX.
France, Germany, Tokyo, London, Sydney. Okay.
Berlin.
Right. So there's some other events that you should be aware of, such as October 8th, 9th, and 10th, New York Comic Con / New York Anime Festival Double Mega Con.
Double Con in the Jacob Javits Center in New York City.
Way.
We will be there Friday night. I don't know exactly what time, doing a brand new anime panel. And we're going to spend most of the rest of our time that weekend at the other competing convention, the Burning Wheel 10-10-10.
Oh, snap.
Oh, shit.
All right. Let's not talk about any other conventions, but there is an event that you should know about. Apparently on September the 28th, there is going to be some sort of John Hodgman, Jonathan Colton, HBO television something at the 168th Street Armory National Track and Field Hall of Fame in Washington Heights. Not Washington, D.C., Washington Heights in New York City. And there's a whole bunch of information here written in a John Hodgman style that you'll have to decipher in order to figure out the details. I'm going to attempt to attend.
They're not eminently decipherable. You can make good guesses as to what's going to happen there, but really?
I mean, here's an example of the things you have to decipher. Quote, if you follow me on Twitter, then additionally you should say so. And when you check in for the show, you shall learn that you have received not only special consideration, but also a special surprise that I cannot discuss further at this time.
I love him
End quote.
And his second-person style.
It's the greatest style of all styles.
All styles.
Except for Styles, who is Horatio Hornblower's shipmate.
Wow, I wasn't sure where you were going with that. So PAX Prime 2010 was clearly the best PAX
I thought you were
yet.
I thought you were extending the meta moment.
No, I'm talking about PAX.
Every PAX is the best PAX yet.
Yes, and that has been proven to me because every PAX I've ever been to has been the best PAX I have ever been to without exception.
That's true.
But this PAX
I've been to 4 PAXs total.
This PAX really kind of stepped up the game,
Yeah.
notwithstanding Tycho calling PAX Boston bitch PAX.
Of course, judging by the greatness, every PAX is better than the previous, but, by different margins. PAX 09 was only marginally better than PAX 08. It
but
was
PAX
better.
2010
was way better than any previous PAX.
What's interesting, it was better in a lot of very subtle ways because not a lot changed. It was these little touches that just made it better.
There were some aspects that also decreased, but the aspects which increased, when you compared them and made a sum, the total profits of greatness.
It's one of those jumps like that year when Otakon just had like 8,000 more people than they had the year before.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those. But I feel like unlike Otakon, PAX, that this is momentum. Because the changes are not dependent upon attendance. The changes are just basically enforcers being badasses coupled with a thriving industry that's undergoing a renaissance.
Yep. Okay, so awesomeness number 1. Well, I guess you already talked about gaming.
Yeah, let's cover the big change, like not the big changes, but the big points of PAX.
Okay, so they moved the main events to this Benaroya Hall down the road.
Which is where the symphony plays.
Which was good in some ways, because you could totally sit down and chill, right? And they were able to, have 2 queues instead of this one big queue. And the Expo Hall was greatly increased into the former queue room.
Which I was disappointed about until I entered that expo hall and realized how off the hook it was.
Yeah. Usually the expo hall is like, okay, it's the expo hall. But this year, the expo hall was OMG.
I was walking around kind of dumbfounded when I first walked in, much like that first Otakon where I walked into that fucking dealer's room.
Yeah. But yeah, the Battle Royale Hall was good, but the two problems with it were that, number one, since there was seats and there was no general admission, the capacity was greatly diminished. Was it like
wait, 2,500 is the number I heard.
2,500 or 3,000, something like that. So it was hard to get in there. You had to line up way in advance to see any Battle Royale Hall event.
Last year, we would just wait until like 20 minutes after a concert started and just walk right in. No big deal.
Yeah, because it was one big empty concrete room that could hold probably 5,000.
But when I saw people tweeting that the concert on Saturday had been going for an hour and they still couldn't let people in, yeah, there was no.
Well, because once you got inside, you weren't getting out.
Nah.
Right? Because there were limited seats and every seat was full. There was a butt in every chair. So that's that. The other thing I heard, but I did not experience personally because I didn't go to any concerts, was that because it was where the symphony plays, instruments and such were amazingly sounding, but vocals were hard to hear, which is good for some, like Anna Managuchi, but bad for others, like Jonathan Colton and, Paul and Storm. So...
Well, there's the third aspect of Battle Royale Hall, that there was talk about streaming, and then it didn't happen at first, then it did, but it looks like what was streamed over Ustream, and that's not so great.
Yeah, but apparently it was successfully streamed, I heard, to the queue room and also to the bring your own PC area. So there were many people who were able to watch the concerts and enjoy them over the Ustream.
Yep, I don't know. I feel like
I was playing tabletop games.
I don't know what to do about the main event situation at PAX because anime cons, it's such a different idea. Like the main events, like a lot of people want to go, but a lot of people pointedly do not want to go. So it's usually self-limiting. And then like Otagon just has that fucking arena next door that holds like 15,000 people.
Yep.
I don't know what PAX can do. There's only like one other big venue, and we have it on good authority that the venue consists entirely of dicks.
Yeah, well, it's called the Sky something, and it does the capacity of it is not that much more than the capacity of the Battle Royale Hall.
But apparently they had some dumb requirements, and it was not an optimal solution.
And from what I heard, they were no good, those people. I really don't know what to do except leave Seattle or...
They can't leave Seattle. That's like telling the Romans to leave Rome. You just build greater cities further away. Build a PAX East that's twice as big as PAX Prime. Build a PAX Austin that's twice big. And PAX Prime ends up being the exclusive club. You got to buy the lifetime member. You have to be born into an admission.
I think one thing they could do is they could just say, look, Expo Hall, we need to have main events over here. We're going to force the Expo Hall to be this size. We're not going to let it grow anymore. And we're just going to charge way more money to be in here, except for we're going to set aside this amount of space for the small guys so that they can get in still. They won't be kicked out.
See, now here's the trouble. The Expo Hall size this year, like last year, I feel like there was space where there was stuff I was not excited about or didn't look too cool, took up room. This year, there was pretty much every single booth, with very few exceptions, was crazy.
Yeah. But the thing is, most of the really big booths that took up a lot of space are the ones I had no interest in.
Duke Nukem.
Yeah, but that wasn't that big compared to, say, Lego Universe or,
Lego Universe, talk about disappointing game. But we already reviewed all the games we played. We're not going to talk about games again.
Or look at the size of that Brink booth, right? They didn't actually use all that space very well. It was just big to get your attention.
It's spectacle.
Yeah, and I think that, that if they cranked up the cost for those guys, then some of them might shrink their booths to save money, be a little less ostentatious, right? And that will allow more of them to fit in, the space. But the thing is, the other thing is bigger space in the Expo Hall. Also, notice how we didn't have to really worm your way around the Expo Hall so much.
It was nice and open. There were no
the
lines.
aisles did not have crowds.
Basically, there was no reason to wait in line to get into the Expo Hall. We just walked in like 5 minutes after the con opened.
Yeah, because the capacity was increased. So I don't know.
But part of that, too, I realized, is that people went into the Expo Hall, and I think the majority got into one of like the 5 2-hour lines to do something crazy.
Yep.
Like play Duke Nukem or play whatever.
Yep. Whatever. So what else went down? Let's talk about any events that we went to. Did you go to any events?
We went to the keynote, which everyone should go to. The keynote and the Omegathon finale were the only main events we actually went to.
Well, main events. I mean, the keynote, it was a good keynote. It didn't blow me away. But he did talk about sort of like this, hey, gaming people, you need to get over, this your whole problem where you think that gaming is, in the is sort of lower than anything else. Just accept it and deal with it and move on and forget about it.
See, but at
wait
the
for
same
the old
time,
people to die.
The gamers tend to be much like the stereotypes of gamers. Even at PAX, as much as everyone's cool, there's definitely that I'm a gamer dude vibe as opposed to I'm a cool dude vibe.
Yep. Yeah, and what you talked about, you made one other point about the the fact that you shouldn't be looking down on the different kinds of games. The game is a game is a game, right? If it gets more people are playing games, even if they're playing Bejeweled on the iPhone on the train, that's totally cool.
Good and bad, except I almost argue that by most definitions of game, things like Farmville are not actually games.
No, but Bejeweled is.
Bejeweled is kind of a game.
Bejeweled is a game. If Tetris is a game, is Tetris a game?
Tetris is a game.
And Bejeweled is a game.
Yeah, Tetris is a better game.
The thing is, neither of them are game theory games except in multiplayer mode because single player is not a game, it's a puzzle.
So?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but so?
I'm just saying. Yeah, the keynote was all right. First Q&A, typical Q&A. It had a lot less of the, I think it was because we went to PAX East, right? That we sort of got this feeling that the Q&A was starting to get a little mushy. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, not at all, really.
Really? Because the Q&A, I think at PAX East had a lot more mushy, sentimental stuff because there were so many people out East who had not yet already released their mushiness, right? Whereas the people at PAX West had released it in many years of PAX. So, the PAX West, I feel like there was a lot less, mushy crying sort of Q&A and a lot more normal Q&A going on.
Yep, but there was also the fact that there are only microphones down low, not up in all those balconies.
That's up. Well, the thing was at PAX East, it was one big mezzanine, so they were able to have microphones up there. You couldn't really have microphones in many tiny balconies.
But at least in our usual fashion, we were doing that late show, so we had John St. John, with us. He'd never been to PAX before. We just, dragged him along. We're like, yeah, get up. You're going to come with us to this keynote, and then there's going to be a Q&A. Just trust us. And I think he was surprised. He's been to, MagFest and other gaming cons. PAX did not seem to be, I think the high production values were an unaccustomed thing to people who go to other kinds of gaming cons.
Yeah, I mean, he was I don't know what he was expecting when he got inside. Just a room full of people sitting with a quiet stage and the microphone on it. But no, there was they had PAX 10 lights aimed at the ceiling with the video screen.
Yep,
and
the hustling and the music and the craziness that makes PAX so awesome.
That was perhaps a top 5 hustles.
It's one of those things where missing the keynote and the Q&A would not ruin my PAX, but that would be the worst thing you could do to diminish my PAX experience.
And you know what? I think that's sad that a lot of people, their PAX experience was diminished because they just couldn't get in that line.
Yeah, and especially if they don't sell those DVDs anymore, how are you going to see the keynote?
The thing is, I heard that they weren't doing the DVDs anymore, but at the merch booth where we went directly after the Q&A, they had the DVDs
from the previous year.
Yeah.
And from PAX East, I don't know if they're going to have them going forward.
I didn't see PAX East DVDs. I saw
all the
PAX
rumors I hear are
DVD.
that they're not doing them anymore, that they're finishing it up and stopping them.
We'll see.
Again, those are just rumors.
Yeah.
So, in our usual tradition, we have to do something to mess with those guys in the Q&A. I mean, last year we did the Action Castle thing. The year before, we asked about that stupid paranoia thing. So, we got John St. John to go up and ask him if they had any bubble gum, and the crowd loved it.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't nearly as epic as it could have been.
Yeah, bean. Is an ultra rare cocoa bean.
It was not anywhere near ultra rare cocoa bean. It was like wax bean.
We didn't want to, with John, especially when it's someone else, I don't want to tell someone else to do something long and awkward because, the fine line between awesome and awkward is razor thin.
I think the best part, though, was when he got in that blow it out your ass line. That was right at the end.
Yep.
Because Mike was like, Sutton, and he was like, blow it out your ass.
It was cool. We kind of leaned into the microphone, and once he started talking, the enforcer who was standing there, because he was just kind of standing there, ignoring everyone, setting the microphone. And once John did the voice, the guy backed up and looked at him again, is that really him? Or is this just a, In the very least, I was pleased that I got him to admit that PAX East is just bitch PAX.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes over at PAX East.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. It was an emotionally charged moment, so I have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I know, like how Mike distanced himself from those comments.
Yeah, he's like, it's all you.
Physically.
Thing about Benaroya Hall, though, Every year there's the knuckle crack, and this time that guy, they did it like right the fuck away.
Well, Pork Fry just jumped in the line immediately.
Yep, because you can't let that fly, can't let that pass.
Yep.
But I feel like Battle Royale Hall added something special to the acoustics of the knuckle crack.
It was quite an excellent knuckle crack.
The timbre
It seemed
was
like
good.
there was actually less people cracking, but it also seemed like each crack was amplified greatly.
I can just imagine the guy who like manages Battle Royale Hall, who's like watching these nerds doing their thing, just watching that, going, "What the fuck?
What the fuck?"
You know, for someone who doesn't know gaming or doesn't know what this is about, I could see PAX feeling like it's some sort of weird cult event.
Maybe we should take PAX DVDs because we have a couple sets, right?
Just show them to people who don't know.
Show them to people who don't know and see like what they think.
Should that be an event at Kineticon? Show your mom what goes on.
We show Kineticon DVDs
and like Otakon stuff, and just be like, "This is what actually goes on at these cons."
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. We could turn that into something.
Maybe we could. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Anyway,
that was the last time we went into main events until the very end of the con at the Omegathon.
Yeah, I mean, I just wasn't going to try to run over and wait. Because how many hours would I have spent to wait in line to get into an event? And then if I didn't get in, good God.
Yeah.
And the only things I wanted to go to, other than, you know, the opening and the closing, were the concerts. And only really the Saturday concerts were the only ones I was interested in. And forget about it.
Thing is, I was much more interested in the Friday concert this year than previous years because those concerts, I like to just listen to the music, but I get tired on Friday night. I don't want to stand there. I really look forward to sitting down in Battle Royale Hall in one of those like boxes at the top, just maybe with the DS, jamming to some tunes. But I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to get wristbands.
No, yeah, the wrist. I think I heard that they're getting rid of wristbands entirely for now on.
I don't know how that'll go.
That's what I heard. I think it's kind of good because it's like, look, you wait in this line early in the morning so that you can be first in a line late at night. It totally just doesn't make sense or work out. And I heard that this might just be for PAX East. I'm not completely sure, but I heard that it's definitely for PAX East, no wristbands. And I suspect this might be because the BCEC is so big that they can just be like, open the doors, everybody in, who gives a shit?
I'm still trying to figure out what's going to happen vis-a-vis food and fucking hotels for the BCEC.
We better get that soon so we don't fuck up.
It's not on the PAX website yet.
Oh.
There's that hotel by the airport. We could just book it.
A lot of people are like, you look in the PAX forums, a lot of people are getting hotels and things or discussing.
Yeah, there's nothing official yet, so I don't know.
What to see.
I'm worried. I'm a little worried about that because part of the energy of PAX is going in and out, hanging out. Like at PAX Prime, we got that one bodega that had a line out the door. The guy had to close it to go like smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, that was that. I walked up and he was like, "Yeah, I'm opening in a few minutes," and I'm like, "Yeah, not buying anything. See ya." Man, so Friday, besides doing that and playing games, it was pretty much just Late Show, right?
Yeah, we did the Late Show. I got to give the huge shout out again to Robert, Greg, Keel, Matt, Graham. These guys and girl, Molly, made it happen for us. We kind of bombed the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna, we're not gonna lie. We're not someone who's the kind of people who say we did awesome when we didn't do awesome. The Late Show is not nearly as good as we wanted it to be or imagined it to be.
Rooster Teeth caught us a little off guard, and we did not recover eloquently or adequately from that.
And we're not the types to blame others either. We should have, if we're making a Late Show, right? It's like if I felt, I mean, it was my mistake. I felt all along that we had too many guests, but I didn't say anything, right? We could have definitely removed a guest. I think it would have made the show a lot better.
Well, of all people,
in retrospect,
Luke Burge gave us the best advice at all because he pointed out that whenever you're doing a live thing that isn't a controlled lecture, because he made me realize something about our content at PAX and panels at conventions. We really control the environment. Look at our panels. We lie and say we're going to take questions, and then we almost never take questions. We don't let anyone in the audience talk. We control the narrative from start to finish. Like we make sure that nothing can get in our way but us. When you got guests on the show or something could go wrong and there's more than one person on stage, you have to have a plan for disaster.
Yep.
I think we had no plan. So when something goes wrong, we'd have the sideways glance at each other, but there's no way short of saying, "I got this," to say, "I got this."
Yeah.
And you can look up at the camera or the audience or the tech crew, and every heartbeat is just like awkward meter going up and up and up.
By a million.
So at least, Molly saved us with her awesome set. And then for the second half, we just had to change it up to see if we could, salvage it. So we jumped on the couch with Alex Albrecht and John St. John, And the second half was pretty badass, I think. I think we pulled it off.
It was all right. I think just imagine what the show would have been though if it was like Alex Albrecht, then Molly, then John St. John at the end,
Yeah.
or switch. Either any order, right? If we minus the Rooster Teeth guys, it would have been a good show. I think much better anyway. I think the one thing that we do need to do is that when we get on stage for doing a panel, right, we have a topic and we're talking about the topic and it's something we care about or know about or both, and we just go off and it works. But when you're doing a late show, a lot of the talk we have to do is like introducing somebody or milling about while someone shuffles around behind stage. And we need to have things not necessarily completely scripted, but more scripted.
Fast backward to a conversation like 6 months ago. Hey, we need to write like a bit for the opening. Nah, let's just wing it.
Well, because I did not. I learned a lesson. It was a lesson learned.
But suffice it to say, despite all the like trying to prepare for this thing, the set that they had for us and the camera, like it was amazing.
Yeah,
to
they
see that thing come
definitely
together.
pulled through for us, and there was no failure on any part, of any enforcers or any of our tech guys or anybody. They were awesome, and thanks to them.
Sadly,
awesomeness.
they've got the video up from the first half, but the video from the second half is not done yet. So the better part is not up.
The thing is, right?
Of course, we kind of screwed them by, we realized like, all right, we're bombing. We got to fix this. So we changed it up and we sat on the couch instead of at the desk. And then they had to like scramble and change all the cameras around. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't even realize that would be a problem. I didn't even realize that they would run out of film either. Like they were, that we pulled it off and fit within the, you had like an extra digital tape lying around. But I didn't even realize that was an issue. There's a lot of things that we just did not know.
Well, we're good at live and we're good at audio. Video, we've got a lot to.
We have no video skills.
Project ST is gonna fix that, hopefully.
Hopefully, but yeah, if they let us do this again, and I would not blame them for not letting us do it again. Our skills will improve every time, and there's no way to improve them without failing.
Though we did realize we had an idea, and actually, John St. John, we were talking about, he was like, "Really? Holy shit! If you guys do it at East, I'll fucking do it at West." But you know what all those anime cons do, that match game?
Yep.
We've got that thing down to a fucking science.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, we should do the match game at PAX. And he was like, oh, man. And then he was like, he said he should host it. And I was like, oh, because I was thinking he'd just be a panelist.
But then I realized that John St. John hosting
he's like,
game,
that's my thing.
And the fact is, he's a fan of the old match game like we are. He could do the voice. He was even making jokes about that stick microphone.
Oh, yeah. We need to get a match game at PAX hosted by John St. John. And then
we had a long conversation with him about Bob Barker, just unrelatedly, who used the same stick microphone.
Yep. Well, that's the the game show host microphone. We should get some of those.
That's the 70s game show host microphone.
They still use those today.
I could get one. I found him. So after PAX, right? I found some of those on Craigslist.
How much?
Like $100.
Get one.
I'm thinking about it.
I could totally use it. We could do a game show in the house.
They're not that good a microphone.
It doesn't have to be that
modern
good.
day, you're better off with the lavs, unless you're trying to 70s it up. I could wear that red blazer I used to wear for the match game.
We could use a different microphone for the actual audio and then just hold it. Anyway.
Remember that at the Late Show, that was the one thing. We're like, oh, we don't have a fake microphone to put on the desk.
No, we don't.
And then we realized we should have had a real microphone as the backup mic.
Yeah. Oh, well. So, yeah, we did the Late Show. It was okay, below expectations, but we did it. And we can say we did it, and that's,
Yep.
What else?
I think it was the biggest thing we've ever bitten off, and I think it was the worst we've ever failed live. So, if that's the worst we ever do, I think we're doing okay.
We're doing all right. Okay.
Well, I guess not counting our very first panel ever.
That wasn't so bad.
OhioCon? I don't even remember.
That was better than the Late Show.
Well, we didn't have any guests.
That's true.
There was that one sad match game at the con that didn't give us any guests or any equipment.
Yeah. So Saturday, before the Late Show, actually, while we were waiting for it, there was a girls in. Did you see any of that? It was like it was like an IGN female game journalist.
We saw that. It was all like IGN female game journalists. Now, I'm sorry to all of you who are on that panel, but I'm going to diss you. And I hope.
Oh man, I hope that people are. This will be an easy. We'll make ourselves an easy mark to be called sexist by making fun of the female game journalist panel, but. You just got to be honest, If you think it's sexist to be honest, well, that's your problem.
But the thing is, you will not think we're sexist when we say this. And we only saw the end of the panel.
I saw the last 10, 15 minutes.
But half of what was said seemed to boil down to, we're girl gamers, don't objectify us, Don't think that we know less than all the guy gamers. Don't look down on our knowledge. So statement the first, and Scott and I both agree, you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about half the games you tried to say things about. But to be fair, you were correct in saying that you are not any less capable than the male journalist in the video game industry at IGN.
If there's anything I learned, right, because on Saturday, right before our game mechanics and mechanism design panel, there was a male game journalist panel that had big names.
Yeah, like
Ngai Kroll and Steven Totillo, who we saw at the Y+30
Who was that guy
thing.
in the middle? I didn't look it up because he was the only one who seemed to know what he was talking about.
There was only one guy on that panel who knew what the fuck he was talking about.
We got to clarify that too. Ngai Kroll didn't say much.
That's true.
While we were there, so I don't know.
But the thing is, right, there's other evidence. For example, Totillo, right, we know for a fact, because after we did the Y+30 thing, he made a post, which I talked to him briefly about how he'd never played Doom. He was a game journalist on MTV for all those years and with Kotaku for all those years. Never played Doom.
Hi, my name's Roger Ebert. I'm a film reviewer. I've never seen Citizen Kane, Casablanca.
Ngai Kroll admitted long ago that he started gaming in the PlayStation era, and he had not played many of the old games. It's okay to grow up in a newer era. I mean, I was born in the 80s. But if I'm going to be a film critic, I better have seen the fucking movies from before I was born, before my time. Otherwise, I need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but I think what got me was the technical stuff, too. At one point, they were trying to list, like, the 10 greatest games of all time, which is BS.
That was what the panel was about.
You got to clarify. Greatest, most influential, like, what are you talking about? Best game, most popular game? Those are two very different things.
Yep.
Sales, what? So, whatever. Obviously, we're ragging on them. Big targets for ourselves. Here we go.
Yeah.
But at one point, I won't say who, but one of them says something to the effect of Counter-Strike. That was a really important game. It was the first game where when you died, you're dead. It was the first game with like the weapon buying mechanic. It was like this asymmetric versus game, FPS, realism. And
he was just wrong.
He was straight up wrong. Action Quake 2. I mean, and I pointed it out to him. He was like, yeah, I don't know anything about Action Quake 2.
Then you should shut the fuck up. What kind of game journalist are you? You are like, judging and critiquing video games, writing journalist. You call yourself a journalist. You're writing about video games and you know less than me. I don't even call myself a journalist. I'm just yelling on some podcast. And the fact is, those girl game journalists from IGN knew just as much about games as those guy game journalists in that panel, except the one guy who knew what he was talking about, who we'll talk about in a second, which is not a lot, right? They were all pretty much complete, from my perspective, they knew a lot less about games than I did. And if I was hiring game journalists, I wouldn't hire any of them except for the one guy. The one guy who was smart, basically, this guy came out at the end.
The guy in the middle, the blonde guy with the kind of like fuzzy hair.
Yeah, he ran out of the panel. I couldn't even get to talk to him.
I walked up because we have panels badges. Our panel's next to say hi, and the dude literally he was talking to someone. I turned my back to say something to Totillo. I turned around again, guy's gone.
Yeah,
not in the room anymore.
But anyway, that guy.
Remember later we were in the elevator and at the hotel, and we saw someone who looked exactly like that guy, and I'm like, hey. Talk about your panel. He's like, what panel?
Yeah, he wasn't the guy.
But then he knew who we were, and it was really weird. But anyway,
this guy, he bumped Adventure off the list because some moron put it on the list. I don't know why. And he put on DDR, and he was spot on with that, And
not just that, but pretty much every word that came out of his mouth in that panel contradicted someone else on the panel and was correct.
That's right. That's enough. Judging from those 15 minutes of hearing these people, he was smart and everyone else was dumb.
Not smart and dumb. It's just knowledgeable.
When it comes to games.
And this is said a lot. It's weird, but no one does anything about it. I feel like video game journalism...
Because the video game fans know even less. You saw those people walking up being like, how come, Call of Duty isn't on there or whatever? It's like, oh my God. This is the top 10 games of all time. I mean, I understand that you like Call of Duty and it's very popular and pooping is good, but top 10? Not even top 50, dude. Seriously. Anyway.
So it was funny because at the girls panel, I hope we didn't disrupt anything because when Scott said the effect of, no, they're not wrong. They know just as much as the guys at IGN. I laughed so hard, I felt like I was going to disrupt the panel. So I'm sorry if you heard me. And I'm sorry that we're dissing you guys so much. Yeah. But
the funniest part about that girl panel was when one of them was like, we shouldn't be, someday we won't be getting bikini pictures. Another girl was like, I've done lots of bikini pictures. You got to pay the bills, all right? That's how things work.
How come I can't get paid bikini pictures?
I don't know. But I felt
you
that
don't
there
see
was
N-Guy Kroll in a bikini.
I felt that there was contention on the panel on that issue.
Oh,
and,
there
and,
was totally tension
and,
on that panel.
and also hypocrisy at the same time, and it was awkward. But also, I wish the girls would have done the panel in bikinis. That was the only sexist thing I've said.
I wish all video game journalists did their panels in bikinis.
It would definitely get.
I'd love to see N-Guy Kroll in a bikini.
No, you don't.
So, the video game industry has shit journalism, and we got to do something about this. We're not great, but we're kind of
people have been complaining about shitty video game journalism for years, and you know what? Even the shitty game journalists are complaining about shitty video game journalism, and there's nothing we can do about it except keep doing this podcast with
or Project ST.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Anyway, so yeah, those are the two panels that happened before our panels. Then we did the game theory mechanism design panel.
Let's take this time to talk about our panels, because while we didn't do so well on the Late Show, I feel like game mechanics and mechanism design, we hit that one out of the fucking park.
You know who wrote that panel?
You did.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a good panel.
Yeah, no, all the panels I'm writing lately, A+. Panels you're writing lately, A-. Well,
it depends on which panel. I got my music panel for the anime cons is really good. Egregious. The problem was I had to rewrite the whole second half of the panel at the con when we noticed stuff at the con. But I got an idea, so I'm splitting Egregious into a new panel, and we got this crazy idea.
I wanna try to get the Miku panel at MagFest because it is music related.
Yeah, I proposed that and the anime openers panel, both of them, just to see what they want. We'll see. We're probably gonna do 2 or so panels at MagFest, but that's neither here nor there.
Would it be unprofessional to go to the New York Comic-Con with our one panel and do a different panel than the one we're scheduled to do?
That would be interesting.
I don't know.
The thing is, the title and description of the panel for New York Comic Con that I gave them is pretty damn generic.
Well, we'll see. Let's work within those bounds and push it pretty far.
We only have to talk about anime that people didn't think they'd like. That's pretty damn vague.
All right.
We could talk about shitty anime that you really won't like. All right. So, game mechanics and mechanism design, when we did this panel, and it's funny because half the questions that we took at the end were about the panel as opposed to like this meta stuff.
Yeah, I know. I put up Scott's rules of question asking, which A, deleted a lot of question asking time, which is purposeful,
but
intentional.
the question that it didn't actually violate any of your rules because everyone was really interested in the answer.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it was still off topic. It wasn't about the,
It was about the panel?
It was meta. It wasn't on
but
topic.
You didn't say no meta.
It had to.
You've got to add another rule.
It needs to be about, the topic of the panel.
Yes, you have to write another rule.
It can't be about the panel.
You have to make a rule that says no meta questions.
No, it doesn't need to be a rule because it's already part of the on-topic rule.
No, because I would
You're
argue,
interpreting the on-topic rule too broadly.
I would argue that everyone interpreted it that way.
Only one guy asked about the panel.
But the panel was enough that at least one unnamed studio, apparently the previous year, a big game studio, one of their employees saw one of our panels. I think it was Beyond D&D, Beyond Candyland. And they told other people at this company to come to this panel this year. And then we were talking to them. They're totally cool dudes. And we learned some stuff about some big games. Yep. Not new upcoming games, but old games.
They didn't tell us anything secret because they were very good at secret keeping.
But it was interesting to talk to them, and we might have cool things to be doing with them in the future. That was very kind of touching and cool that happened.
Yeah, they also told us about some other games that they don't even make that they thought were cool that we like. Yeah. For example, Uniwar is a really good iPhone game if you like Advance Wars with hexes.
Oh my god, and I'm getting real close to the end of my Sprint contract.
Civ 5 comes out a week from today.
Ah, fuck.
No, Tuesday, so today's Thursday.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
That's like countdown to the end of my life.
All right, so 5 days.
But we really, we hit this one out of the park. The audience was on the edge of their seats the entire time.
Yeah, the Late Show, the room was emptying as we did the Late Show. But as we did the Game Theory Mechanism Design panel, the room was filling as we did the panel. That's how you know it's good, when it fills.
It was very hard to get away. We had to basically tell everyone to get out of the room. And
I left a whole bunch of stuff behind because I had to get out because the next panel was setting up.
Yeah, and I was trying to leave the room, and we were basically mobbed by people for the rest of the night as a result of this panel.
Yeah, and for the rest of the con, no one came up and told us, oh man, your Late Show was awesome, or anything like that. They just told us, they kept telling us that our Game Theory Mechanism Design panel was awesome. And they saw it, so that was totally sweet.
So, don't worry, we
need to get our quality panel on Friday instead of Saturday next time. That's all I want. Let's just put our best panel on Friday at noon or 1. That's all I want.
Well, for
Even
PAX East,
if we only do one panel, let's do that.
We are very likely at PAX East this upcoming year doing that panel again, and either the sequel.
Obviously we have to do that panel again.
Yeah, and either the sequel to it or the triple threat.
Triple threat.
Maybe both. We'll see.
We can't do a sequel to a panel at the same con as the prequel.
I think you can because they're two standalone panels.
Nah, we should do something else as the other panel.
Nah, because we're not calling it a sequel.
Yeah.
It's not actually a sequel. It covers all the things that people who went to the first panel had questions about, and it's basically its own panel.
Whatever. Anyway, so then we did the very last panel of the whole con. We did egregiously unrealized potential.
Not our last panel, the con's last panel. Literally, this panel ended, and then immediately after, the Omegathon finale began.
And we got to thank Aaron C. again for helping us get into the Omegathon.
Oh my God! Basically,
finale.
we finished the panel. We tell everyone, all right, we're out of here. We run. Aaron gets us in. He puts us up in the VIP box, and then immediately the Omegathon finale starts.
That was the best.
I don't know what I would have done if I didn't make it. That was crazy. But I was very surprised that a lot of people came to that panel.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like about half of them came because they saw the other panel.
Yeah, a lot of people, there were repeat people that knew that they were at the other panel. A lot of people just couldn't get into the Omegathon finale, didn't want to bother, or, whatever. It was in a smaller room, the Raven Theater. It was so late in the con. I think that's another thing is the timing is very important. The timing of our Game Theory Mechanism Design panel had a very good timing, right? But the late show, I didn't realize how much PAX clears out at night. It empties, right? And also...
Except tabletop.
And also, the PAX also empties, around towards the end there. If you're not going to the closing ceremonies, there's only one panel and everything else is starting to shut down. So there weren't too many people around to go to our egregiously unrealized potential panel. So the number that showed up was pretty impressive.
Yeah, we almost filled the room. There were only like 20 seats in the back that weren't filled.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And it was definitely more of us ranting about games.
It wasn't. I think the educational panels are definitely way better and inspiring, but a ranting panel can be all right as long as you don't do too many of them, or rant too much.
Yeah, it's a fine line because sometimes the pure entertainment panel is good.
Yeah, it's good. It's just, it's not amazing.
The thing is,
if you want to bowl people over, you have to do the amazing panel where people feel enlightened.
Or you have to go all out and do the Uncle Yo like I am doing stand-up.
Doing the rant panel is more like playing the Woo game, right? Because it's like, I have this gripe. Woo, I agree. Boo, I disagree.
Yeah.
And that's,
Of course, by talking about the Woo game, we got people to not play the Woo game.
Very good.
Yeah. And also... I don't think anyone had really considered the potential of a Pokemon MMO. Like, no one in the room. They're like, all right, where are they going with this? Where are they going with this? Where are they going with this? Then we were like, Pokemon MMO. And they were like, oh, shit.
Change the world. Destroy the world.
That's the end.
I mean, Civ 5, poop on a stick compared to Pokemon MMO.
Yeah, Pokemon MMO is one of the only things that could possibly pull me away from Civ 5.
Natural Selection 3, Tribes 3.
Yeah.
Can't beat Pokemon MMO. Even if it's a stupid grinding game that I hate, and I will hate it, I will play it anyway.
Because it's Pokemon. It's the end.
It's a goddamn Pokemon MMO. I'll pay a monthly fee.
So, the Omegathon finale was off the hook.
Now, the thing is, I have never successfully predicted the Omegathon finale, right? I mean, the closest I came was when it was Skee Ball, right after they revealed it. I was like, I should have known, right? It felt like it was on the tip of your tongue kind of situation. But in fact, the Megathon finale this year, I had predicted a year in advance. But
however, you predicted it for the
actually
wrong one. That's like betting. I bet that the Mets are going to win this year, and they lose,
and then they win the next year, right? And then when we were actually sitting and we actually sat down and were waiting for the curtains to open and reveal the game, I couldn't think of a goddamn game to save my life. It was just drawing a total blank.
And then he's like, "It's an old game."
He gave 3 clues. He said the game was ancient. Right? Okay. I was trying
resource gathering.
It was a turn-taking game, and it was a resource gathering game. And as soon as he said resource gathering game, I knew that it was the crane. And I said, "It's the crane!" And when he opened the curtain, behold, the Omega Crane.
This was definitely the best
I had guessed it correct with like 5 seconds before it was revealed.
Finale to date. The fact they had the little microphone, you heard the individual quarters going in. That
was whichever tech guy was so smart to put a microphone near the coin slot and to put a microphone near the speaker that played the carnival music. And then, like, they had these prepared jokes, but they pulled them off so effortlessly. Like, Taika was like, "We have these quarters in our pockets, much like your father." And
it's
then
a complicated world, son.
and then every time the machine didn't work, he's like, the world is a complicated place.
But it was amazing, especially, it might have been Benaroya Hall that added to the air of excitement because it was silent and you just hear the movements. And then the crowd would just lose their shit every time something happened.
And they filled the crane with the most amazing stuffed animals from various video game franchises.
DTP.
Yeah, of course, Robert Koo was the only one who could pull out 2 toys with 1 crane press. Right?
Sadly, one of the Omega Knots, as is every Omegathon finale, he was hopelessly outmatched.
But was it really skill or, I mean...
I think it was skill. He kept going for some things he shouldn't have gone for.
It's true. I mean, look how many turns by when no one went for the lying sideways Kingdom Hearts guy, right? They pulled it out and it was laying sideways, but no one went for it after all those turns until eventually they went, didn't Mike pull it out in the end, I think, right? Whatever. The point was that they made the crane so epic. Even though... until the point where one guy was dominating, it was so tense. Because, they would pull, it's moving, he's got it lifted in the crane, and then he drops it. Oh.
And just the magnitude of the crowd reaction was actually kind of overpowering.
I have an idea. We need an you know how Dread uses a Jenga set? We need an RPG
that uses the crane game?
Uses the crane game.
Also, I note, for the first time ever, 0 technical problems, started immediately.
I think a crane, right? Notice it was a brand new crane machine that they had restyled to be the Omega crane. It was not an old skee-ball machine. It was not an old Famicom, right, from Japan with a disk system, right? It was not 4 separate Nintendos, some of which weren't actual Nintendos with different cartridges lined up in a row. This was something that had a very low chance of failure. Seeing it was a brand new machine, they set it up on time. It was good to go. It had extensive testing, right? I hope that in the future they will also do the same thing and not use incredibly old technology to run the Omegathon finale and instead opt for things such as emulation.
I really want the Omegathon finale to be like Nerf fencing or something.
I want it to be one of those electromechanical games, much like you see in the Retro Arcade Museum.
Wonder if we could try to...
Perhaps a gun game. With shooting.
Here are 2 Glocks.
Or perhaps pinball. Of the oldest variety.
See, remember, the trouble is you don't necessarily want a good game. You want a game where the reveal itself will have the crowd go, oh shit. And then secondarily, ping pong has the other fatal flaw.
Table tennis.
Again, the other fatal flaw. You can't use a game where someone who has some amount of skill will completely and without question dominate the other guy. Like, if it was a ping pong thing, someone who has played ping pong before will just win completely against someone who is not.
Yep.
Like, there is no chance.
I think that's why, but even when they went with basically sort of a random game like the crane, it's still one person dominated.
Because there's skill, and the Omegathon is not good at selecting generic game skill.
No.
Not at all. What they need to do is select for drama and drama alone. Pick games that cause nothing but drama, but they can't be random because then it's no more drama than a roulette table. Roulette!
I thought of roulette, but I immediately canceled it out.
Yeah, maybe poker.
Because I think playing roulette for a prize of tickets to Japan would not go over well.
So what about chess boxing?
You would need the gaming commission.
I would play chess boxing.
Yeah, you can't have people going to the hospital either.
I don't know, if you get them to sign some waivers.
I think that the big sumo suits would be a good choice. Right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or the joust. Not joust with the ostriches. Joust American Gladiators.
American Gladiators. See, my crab people. Well, not my crab
people. Well, no,
people.
remember we had that idea that
the aggro crag.
Just
Just build the aggro crag behind stage. Or make a double dare set.
Double dare set.
Oh, man, double dare set.
Yeah. All right.
So, I don't know, PAX was awesome, and we didn't do much else other than play games and do all the things that we just said we did. I mean, we hung out with John St. John for most of Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we let him go off and do his own thing.
Yeah. Again, I can't think of anything else.
Well, we had all the weird meta stuff. Like, on Friday, right? A lot of people have talked about this. You know, we invited John St. John, and us and the Enforcers pulled in and brought him to PAX of our own volition. None of us knew Duke Nukem Forever was coming.
Nope.
None of us.
Not a clue. We did it solely because we needed a guest for the Late Show. We knew that he went to MagFest and was amicable, and he was awesome, so we gave him a ring.
And it worked out, and we're hanging out with him. We're having lunch at Vaughn's on like Friday afternoon, and suddenly Twitter fucking explodes with Duke Nukem Forever, Duke Nukem Forever. And I'm like, what? Duke Nukem Forever is trending. And he looks at us, he's like, oh shit, I didn't leak anything, did I?
And we're like, oh shit, he just said he was worried about leaking something. That means it's for real.
And then he's like, yeah, you guys have probably figured it out by now. And then we talked about the whole story that we didn't even fucking know. And he was like, yeah, all these rumors started because of you guys in this Late Show. But, and we had to wait for it. And then it happened. So,
and then, of course, right after the meal, we went to the expo hall.
And sure enough,
there was Duke Nukem Forever.
There it was. He snuck me into the back room. I got to play it and see the little spiel and everything. It's real. I played it.
It's a game.
But that was quite a moment. PAX has never trended before, but PAX now trended only because Duke Nukem Forever trended.
Duke Nukem Forever trended, and then PAX trended right after it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Man, what other... It's so... Because I just remember playing games so much. I don't really remember much else.
Because we did a whole show on the games we played.
I know. There was the hidden level. We could talk about the hidden level a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
over at the Annex.
So basically, the Annex, since we went to the Annex in PAX 08, and then in PAX 09, it was not used. In PAX 10, it was used again and had been renovated, which is very nice. Excellent renovation. Good job, construction workers and architects and so forth. The thing was, the only way to get there was to go through the secret elevator in the back of the expo hall. And it was cool because it was the hidden level. Yet a lot of people found their way to the hidden level, no problem. And it was pretty crowded back there. And that was where all the WotC stuff was and where all the other tabletop game people had like their booths, and some gaming merchants were back there. It was a good area. But the thing that was disappointing was that there was another area of the Annex that was still unused, and I think everyone agreed and sort of knows that if they had moved the free tabletop to that area, it would have been it would have been much preferred. But we don't know if it's actually going to happen.
Well, it's tricky. You need, for good tabletop, many smaller rooms is much better than the standard gaming con one big room.
That is true. However, more space and more tables is always welcome.
I would do both somehow, or I would turn that other space. Either I would try to make all of tabletop be in the Annex, like fill the Annex, and put like one more panel room over there that is just for tabletop-y, RPG-y kind of stuff.
One thing I would do is I would put some tabletop into the Raven Theater and move the Raven Theater over there. That's a good idea.
Well, we don't know how big the space is. I only poked around.
We couldn't. There was ropes blocking off that extra unused space.
Later, I snuck over there and poked around, but most of the doors were locked. So
yeah, not much.
Or what I would do is I would use that area to just add one thing that PAX Prime is lacking: the art show. That's the thing that PAX really needs. And if they get that extra space and they put it there, it's just a people funnel to get people out of the rest of the con, and it doesn't detract from anything else.
Both PAXs, the one thing I think both of them are missing is some way, because, at Otakon you have Dealer's Room, Artist Alley. And Dealer's Room is for people with money, and Artist Alley is for everyone else, right? PAX has the Expo Hall for people with money, and if you don't have money, that's it, right? They need to have that sort of sub-Expo Hall. Like, maybe, that is where the normal people can go to get a booth or to display their do-it-yourself, user-generated content kind of action. The really, really, really indie studios, the artists, all that stuff needs a place at PAX, and it doesn't have one right now. And hopefully with the more space in the BCEC and the Annex Edition, it can happen. But we'll see.
Yep, we shall see indeed.
The big thing is they have a philosophy of do it right or don't do it at all. So I think that they're trying to figure out how to do it right.
Except with the Late Show. No, that was us, not that.
Yeah.
So the sumos, a bunch of enforcers were taking them home, and we just heard this from literally a random guy in the
total
Sheraton
rumor
lobby,
from guy in a lobby
that the sumos might be not appearing at PAX in the future because the sumo company kind of doesn't want to give them a discount anymore because
I don't want to. It'll take me
more.
like 5 minutes to explain it all, but there might not be sumos. We don't know the deal, but a bunch of enforcers got to take sumos home, so good for them. They deserve it.
See, now what I would have done if I were PAX is let enforcers sign them out and keep them all year. All they have to do is bring them back to PAX. Then
I think that's what they
warehouse.
were doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they're doing now. It's getting weird, so we'll see. The thing is, what'll PAX be without sumos? You know what? I didn't go in the sumos once this PAX.
Because I was too busy doing shit.
I was playing games instead.
Yeah.
Tabletop instead of DS.
There were scalpers in front of PAX. Scalping is starting to be an issue, so I don't want to get into the
Notice
whole
how
thing.
it's not an issue at PAX East, only at PAX West.
Well, it'll be an issue at PAX East
You
this
think
year.
so?
I am so sure.
I don't know.
So, one, we were talking to enforcers and things, and I'm sure there will be some way to make this a better. We got some cool ideas. But all that aside, if you want to go to PAX or you think you want to go to PAX, just pre-register the day it goes online. There's no reason not to. You can resell your badge. And if PAX is guaranteed to sell out, you're guaranteed to be able to resell the badge if you don't attend.
Yeah. If you have an inkling that you want to go to any PAX, East or West, the day the pre-orders go on, don't hesitate. Just pre-order. Boom, immediately. Right? You'll get the badge in the mail, and if it turns out that something happens at the last minute and you can't actually go, sell the badge legitimately, not like a scalper, right? You're only selling the one badge or two badges you bought. You're not scalping 500 like that jerk, right?
I love the solution.
It's totally cool.
Some enterprising Penny Arcade and PAX staff decided that the best way to deter that one scalper was just walk out and start videoing him and taking pictures of him until he felt awkward and ran away.
I heard a rumor that Robert Koo emailed a bunch of Craigslist scalpers, went and met them all in a parking lot and bought all their badges back from them all at once.
God, I think at this point I have like a man crush on Robert Koo.
Who does not? Non-men.
Yeah, non-men.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll see. Buy your PAX badges right away. If you guys do that, the scalpers can't get you because it's not that easy to scalp PAX badges that quickly.
And also, if all the badges sell out faster, that gives the scalpers less time to buy a ton of them.
It also gives PAX some advantages that are kind of behind-the-scenes advantages.
Yeah,
but
it's better for the convention if the badges sell faster than if they sell slower, because then they have more time to know things. More information sooner means better planning.
One cool thing in the expo hall we did see was, Geek Chic, they make that awesome, heritage, heirloom, crazy furniture for nerds.
They have coffee tables now.
They had the Hoplite coffee table there, and now that I actually saw it,
I want it.
It's exactly what I need, and it's not that expensive.
Does anyone want my coffee table that I have now?
It's like $1,500 for the fully loaded one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get it
A
eventually.
Crate and Barrel coffee table costs more than that.
I'll get it eventually, not right away. Eventually, because I have a serviceable coffee table.
Here's think of this: that table cost only slightly more than it costs to fly John St. John to PAX and give him a hotel for 3 nights.
It costs slightly more than a computer.
Yeah. And it's so much better than a computer. Of course, apparently the Geek Chic's getting popular enough to where there is a 9 to 12 month lag time.
I realize there's a lag time with pretty much anyone who does any sort of furniture that's custom because it takes them so long to make it and they only have so many guys and it's hard to get more people and it's hard to get more space and whatever. So there's always going to be a lag time on that sort of thing.
So one weird aside, Thursday, we got to the con Wednesday night because it was cheaper to pay for a hotel Wednesday than it was to fly out Thursday.
Yep.
And I feel like I should do this every year because being in town all day Thursday proved to me a couple of things. One, Seattle's really fun to run around in for a day. We went to this Andy Warhol exhibit and this Kurt Cobain exhibit.
There was a museum and we just happened to go in and it happened to be totally free that day. Totally sweet.
There was stuff to do. We went to the Utilikilt store. We got Utilikilts.
Oh, yeah. Forgot all about it.
Yeah. That store tries so hard to be so manly. They give you a fucking beer if you buy one.
Yeah.
They were really cool, though, and we got kilts. And the actual,
skirts.
The actual, owner and creator and everything was there. And he came over and personally fitted me. And I got my kilt.
Yep.
Fucking love that thing. I'm going to buy another one as soon as I feel like it.
I don't know if I'd buy another one so fast.
I need 2 for one reason and one reason alone. I pretty much see myself wearing a kilt anytime I'm not going to work.
Nah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to go all kilts all the time.
I don't know if I'll do that.
You need 2. You can't wear the same pants every day.
I'll wear it when it's clean, and then I'll wash it, and I'll wear it when it's clean, and,
Yeah, but even if it's clean, if I wear it Friday, I feel a little weird wearing it Saturday.
I could wear it Sunday, though.
And Friday and Saturday?
No, just Friday and Sunday.
But what about Saturday?
I'll wear shorts.
Plus, you could wear it to work.
I could.
I can't.
I don't know about the bicycling. They say I could bicycle with it, but I don't know.
You might have to use that modesty thing.
Yeah, but even with the modesty thing, it's still...
Yeah, but the other important thing I learned is that the Sheraton lobby was full of people playing games all day Thursday, all night Thursday, all night Sunday, and there were reports of people playing games much of Monday.
Did you research the cost of getting the ballroom?
I'm looking into it. I don't want to talk about it live because, we got to do this thing by the book.
It might not happen.
But yeah, if we can, we talked about this in the other PAX show we did. We are going to try to set up a non-sanctioned Geeknights PAX pre and or post party.
Mm-hmm.
The PAX Prime pre-post party.
P. But with the G in the front because the Geeknights.
Yeah.
Party.
We're working on it because there were a lot of people playing games. Like it was, in fact, I would say that if you don't have a badge to PAX, you can still enjoy a lot of PAX because the lobby of the Sheraton is better than most gaming cons I've ever attended.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad, but it's true.
Alrighty. Was there anything else at PAX that wasn't us playing a game?
Other than the fact that I have to give huge shout outs to every single enforcer at all of PAX.
Every single fan, every single person who came up to us and told us our panel was awesome.
Particularly
every person who came to our event, anyone who suffered through the late show.
The enforcers, because multiple enforcers, I had conversations that went along the lines of blah, 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 tribes too, and they would interrupt me and say, oh my God, yeah, tribes too. That was the best game. And we would nerd about it for a while.
Yep.
Have like mental orgasms. I ran into one enforcer who had never seen our panels before. He was like a new like theater or whatever enforcer. And I was like, yeah, you guys are awesome. And I actually made him blush. Like, he wasn't used to the praise. I think he was a brand new enforcer.
Apparently, he was not paying attention at the closing ceremonies when Gabe and Tycho had their list of people that they remember to thank. And they thanked all these people, right? But only when they thanked the enforcers did the entire room standingly ovate for like a minute.
And Otakon, take some notice the way they treat their staff.
Yeah, and the way their staff treat the attendees and each other. And people in general.
PAX, I would go to 12 PAXs a year if there were 12 PAXs.
I would go to 4 PAXs.
Well, I would go to 4 PAXs as a panelist and entertainer and performer. I could go to 12 as just an attendee.
Depends how far away they are.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to PAX Sydney more than once.
No.
I don't think I'm going to PAX Berlin more than once.
Every PAX they ever make, I will go to once. But every year, I will only go to one PAX repeatedly every 3 months.
Yeah, but I said it before and I got to say it again. Robert, Greg, Heel, Matt, Graham, everyone who helped us with the late show, Molly23 for coming on and doing that act, Alex Albrecht, Duke Nukem, even Rooster Teeth, even though you guys were drunk.
Yeah.
Really drunk.
You showed up on time.
Yep.
You know, I mean, hey, you came out, you helped us with our show. We didn't pay you or anything.
We didn't get to argue enough about machinima machinima. I want to actually argue that out when you're sober.
Apparently they didn't want to.
I really wanted to, though.
All right. Anyway.
So, what else can I say other than the PAX is pretty much the best con I ever go to?
PAX East, step it up.
Oh my God, PAX is in less than 6 months.
You know what though?
What?
At PAX East, you're going to be able to play Civ 5 at PAX with other people.
Oh my God. I'll have to get a new laptop before that.
You can just go in the PC area and maybe you bring your own PC and we'll do Civ 5 in there.
No, I'll get a laptop that can play it, and then I'll bring my own PC. Double Civ.
Oh shit.
Also weird. I get Robert Koo gets a lot of shout outs, but I really have to kind of publicly thank him for something because he makes PAX happen. He makes all this stuff happen.
He made everything happen.
I'm pretty sure that he's not actually a person, but some sort of clone cyborg from the future.
We know that's a true fact.
But despite this, that I've never seen him at a convention where he was not fixing something or on his way quickly to fix something. And despite always being in this state, when we were in Thursday going to get our badges, because they don't mail the panelist badges of all things, which is cool. We were looking for it because they moved it because there's this other con like where the reg was supposed to be. So they moved it and they hadn't like sorted all that out yet. And we looked confused for no more than 1 second before Robert Koo personally walks over, says, "Oh yeah, you guys are looking for badges."
He didn't even introduce himself. He didn't know that we knew who he was.
I don't know if he knew who we were because I think he knows what we look like. I don't know. I interact with him very sparsely, but he just comes up out of nowhere, says, "Oh, you're looking for PAX registration, I assume. Come with me." And he just took us down to it.
He escorted us personally, right?
And then he said, "Here you go. Enjoy." And then he vanished in a puff of smoke.
Yes. But I mean, con chair of Otakon would never do that.
No. Well, it depends on the con chair. Jim Bowles would have done that.
Maybe. But, when is he going to meet you at the bottom of the elevator where you're looking lost, Not going to. He's probably busy already with the con by that time.
Also, shout out again to Aaron C. I love all you enforcers, but he's my favorite enforcer.
Oh,
and we're
shit.
glad
You're smacking Ro down?
Oh, no, because Ro is our crew. But I guess Aaron's now also in our crew. So you're both my favorites. And Jeremy. Shit. See?
Shit.
This is the trouble with shout-outs.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it was cool. We had a sort of front row crew plus Asian posse plus West Coast front row crew private after party at PAX.
It was good.
Because, we're trying to find a restaurant that'll seat like 20 people in short notice. And we actually found a place and they gave us a private room. And they did separate checks for every individual person.
It was good. I like that. They didn't care either.
Yeah, in fact, they offered it. But the funniest thing, so we're sitting there, right? And then we see spiky hair and we look up and sure enough, Alex Albrecht and his post-PAX party was right next to the private room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that coincidence? People at PAX doing the same late show, eating at the same restaurant at the same time. Oh, man, remember when we went to the hidden Indian place that was giving the PAX discount?
Oh, yeah.
But we went too early. We went Thursday, so we didn't get the PAX discount.
But instead, he brought us that fresh naan that he made just for us right then. So
yeah, but it was totally empty and weird, but it was awesome.
Yeah. Also, the fact that on Sunday, right, we needed some breakfast, and we didn't want to get double waffles again. So we go over, and we're walking toward, like, the mall just to find some breakfast. And we were going to pass Vaughn's, and I say out loud, man, Scott, imagine if Vaughn's had some fucking... And then sure enough,
they had it.
Vaughn's has breakfast. And you know what? It's pretty damn good.
It was a little pricey, and there wasn't that much to choose from compared to, say... the far superior breakfast buffet at the Connecticut Hotel.
Nah, the Connecticut Hotel stands far and above.
But the flavor of, say, the potato, magnifique.
That was a nice good potato. Oh, and that freaking bacon with the maple glaze.
And the pepper on.
I ate like half a pound.
I
of
hunger
that
so
bacon.
much. You want to order some food right now?
We're going to cook.
What are you cooking?
I don't know. It's chicken something.
Maybe.
I gotta go put the rice on like right now.
I'm like so
right the fuck now. I gotta get that rice going.
Right,
oh
let's
shit.
Go.
Oh shit. Up. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.